Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekend Big Show. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, here with you on a Friday, as things should be. Just not your typical Friday morning like we have been, but special circumstances bring about special times, and that would include storms, work schedules, and any other sort of nonsensory that we have to deal with in our daily lives. But we wanted to get back on and do a redo of last night's program because Jeremy, the new streaming software lets you set the live stream, but you can take yourself in and out of the stream or of the video. And I did about 13 minutes last night with just blank screen while I was talking to a camera that wasn't recording me. That's stuff, buddy.
Must have missed your dosage of Prevagen yesterday.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny you say that. I gave it up because I thought I'm not that much clearer, and it's a pretty good price per bottle. And now it may be a situation where we get back on it.
Yeah, I hear Adderall's cool. Maybe you're out in that part of the state in the 580. You probably get you some methamphetamine somewhere.
Yeah, and I do believe the mental crispness is one of the attributes of the. Chasing that blue lollipop. So, anyways, but man, last night was such a depressing time to begin with. But we talked about it a lot, and honestly, Jeremy, the video and the audio, I couldn't do anything with it, so it just went bye-bye. And I thought, well, if he's up for a redo, I'll be willing to do that too. So thanks for coming on again after
no problem.
I kept you up late last night. But apparently I wasn't all that kept you up late last night, as Normantown was kind of in the bear cage.
Yeah. They had a circulation 20 miles from me, so they went ahead and fired up the storm sirens at 4:45 this morning. So that was awesome.
Yeah, they do that a little bit, don't they? And that's I remember living in Oklahoma City, and they said that they had them kind of sectioned off to where you were not going to be in Oklahoma City. You were not going to be awoken on the northwest side if there was one on the southeast side moving away. I don't know that other communities have delved into that kind of technology.
They lie. They lie.
Well, I tell you another group that lies, and that's the NBA media. But no, just a disappointing ending to Game 1 last night. I'll tell you this much, Jeremy, and we talked about it last night, but Indiana wins Game 1 of the NBA Finals, 111-110. Tyrese Halliburton picks his 13th and 14th point of the night to score with 0.3 seconds left in the game to just thrust a dagger in a game that had been dominated by the Thunder predominantly for 3.5 quarters. But going forward, I mean, these guys are professionals. We're fans. Fans are fans. You live and die with the team, but those guys have got to figure out a way to regroup and go back out and assert themselves.
They will. They will. They did against Denver. They'll come out Sunday. Is it Sunday at 7?
Yeah, Sunday at 7.
Sunday at 7. They'll come out. They'll punch back. They'll probably win Sunday. I don't really have any doubts that they're going to have a good showing Sunday. They seem to play their best ball when their back's against the wall. So, that 11.5 point spread, I don't know if it's moved at all. I could effort that. They're going to take care of business Sunday.
Well, they've got to.
Yeah, and it just seemed like a case where they just went away from their bread and butter at the end of the game and lost the game. Just handed it over to them. Didn't box out. Didn't do things that they've been successful doing, which is defense, out rebounding teams, late in games.
Yeah, doing all the things like you said, turnovers,
the things that they've been so good at all year.
Yeah.
They have a lapse at the worst time and end up costing them a ball game. I look for them to come out and rebound from it, and be just fine.
So to recap last night, they start out, I think 20 turnovers in the first half. They were just picking them apart, but they never could get just the coup de grace that they needed to really pull out one of those big blowout victories. Then, the third quarter goes by. It's a pretty lackluster quarter, but they're still in it. They're up 15 with 9:42 left to go in the game. And then commits. I mean, in essence, what we saw last night, Jeremy, was the prevent defense of basketball.
Exactly.
And
just don't make the big mistake and death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to say this, and it won't be popular, but I think in the Denver series, we saw it. And, that was the last series that had any games that didn't go their way. And actually, I mean, I'm sorry, game 3 against Minnesota, that was just kind of like let them punch themselves out.
Yeah.
But in the Denver series, the 2 games they lost, both of them were Aaron Gordon big shots at the end.
At the end, yeah. They just completely
when they needed to separate themselves, it's like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went into some hero ball.
Yep.
And he's the MVP, and he is a great mid-range shooter. It's usually an automatic bucket. We've seen now, I think, that all those people that called him foul merchants through the first couple of rounds. Well, he's not getting calls like he did against Denver or in the regular season. I mean, he's taking contact, and for the people that called him a flopper, I mean, most of the people that called him a flopper praise and just glaze all over the biggest flopper of all time. But having said that, last night you get a 15-point output from Lou Dort, but in essence, we broke it down last night, and nobody gets to see it. But 23 minutes for Chet Holmgren, 17 for Isaiah Hartenstein. Those guys need to be in and make an impact. Beat them up inside. You've got the players to do it. Dominate the paint. I mean, they had more points in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you lived.
But they gave up. But they lost so many points in the paint. Missed so many shots in the paint, and they had a ton of points in the paint.
Out rebounded by 13, I think it was at least. But what I'm getting at is we said this last night. And I know I've said that 40 times already, but when I texted you and said Case and Wallace with the start, you were surprised. Apparently you got another text from a friend of ours, Cam. And then, I don't even have a big problem with that if you at least have Chet or iHeart in the game late.
I have a massive problem with that.
Okay.
Because that is not how you have won all these basketball games. You have a lineup. You've asserted your will with that lineup. And then in the biggest series these guys have ever played in, like, we're going to do something totally different. Dagnall outthought himself. Go out there, bully him around. Don't get out rebounded. Yeah, they're going to hit some shots from the outside. You've got enough guys with length and quickness on the floor, even with iHeart and Chet. You can mitigate a lot of what Indiana's going to do. I think he just outthought himself.
Well, I mean, and
it's the smartest guy in the room thing,
To counter that, and Michael Busso checking in saying good afternoon. To counter that, Jeremy, his plan worked for 3.5 quarters. It was late when they needed rebounds. And how many times? See this logo on my head?
I see it.
What have I always said about the 2013 finals?
Was that the Heat Spurs?
Mm-hmm. The first one.
I don't remember.
What do I always say about the Ray Allen shot to tie it?
I don't know. Refresh my memory.
You don't even know me.
I'm sorry. I got people asking me other things offline.
Well, you're kind of doing a show here.
I know. Tell them to leave me alone.
Leave him alone. No, the thing about it is in that situation, it's eerily similar. in the fact that I've always said since the 2013, what was that, game 6, if you've got Tim Duncan in there to get a defensive rebound, you've got your other title.
True. That's true.
You repeat.
And what got him to that point, Chuck?
Yeah.
Tim Duncan being out there.
And so, I mean, here's the thing. In the fourth quarter alone, you had 60% shooting from 3 by the Pacers. They were 6 of 10. They got 13 offensive rebounds on the night.
Yep.
5 of them were in the fourth quarter. And I know for a fact, I can remember 2 of them resulted in buckets. And, and when you lose by 1, you go back, you lose by 20. You're just saying we just got to get out there and do it. You lose by 1, you start looking at the little things. Alex Caruso is out on a dribble drive and scores, misses his free throw. Chet
lane violation.
Chet misses an easy layup, just rolls in and out. He absorbs some contact. Now, I'm not blaming either one of those players, but as a team, you're going to sit down and you're going to look at that. Now, what they've got to do going forward is, like you said, don't. Okay, so let me ask you this before we get to that. Live or die by guarding the perimeter harder.
I know what their defense does. I know what they've done all year. They're going to count on you shooting 30 to 35% from 3, and you're just going to live with it.
This team may not.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep, if they can maintain 47% throughout the whole series, that'd be some sort of record. But
yeah,
you still got to close out. You still got to close out. You still got to keep guys in front of you. You still got to get out. You got to challenge shots. You can't leave guys that are that good as shooters that wide open all the time. You can't do it.
Yeah,
it's
Kenny McGuire saying too many threes in the fourth and didn't get to the line. Yeah, I don't think anybody was going to get to the line that much in that fourth quarter the way it was being called. But
we need Scott Foster.
He's in the rotation. It just depends on.
We need him tomorrow. We need him Sunday.
Yeah, so it's bring him on in. But no, and that's the thing is like you're talking about is, I mean, 6 threes in a quarter. That's that's huge. And Miles Turner, Chet closes out on him shooting a 3. He takes a sidestep and glazes it off the glass. I mean, it and I think it was I forget who wrote the article, but you're talking about a team that came in without the pressure on them.
Right. Yeah, they're playing with house money.
Did you hear Windhorst last night?
No.
In the post game, I rewatched the post game, and in the post game, he said he felt like he talked to several of the Pacers staff, and he laid it out that basically, and it's almost like a rope-a-dope if you think about it. We're going to let them punch themselves out. We're going to let them turn us over, whatever the case. And he claims this was before the game, but that they kind of played it out like it played out to him, and come from behind. Maybe you're down, but come back, and really, it kind of transcends all sports because, like I said, the prevent defense does nothing but prevent you from winning.
Sure,
in football, baseball, basketball, but it was surprising that in that situation, your MVP couldn't figure some way on those last several possessions to get something going. I mean, but I'm not laying it all at his feet.
I mean, Jalen Williams was 6 of 19 from the floor. Just not a good game from him. He fell in. I love Caruso. I think he is a difference maker, but he played a ton of minutes. He played 28 minutes. He's not a 28-minute guy with the way this roster is constructed.
But that was that small lineup.
Yeah, I know it, and it just did not. Maybe you can go a little smaller in the second half when you're trying to blitz them and run away with them. Like they did all freaking year. But no, they started small and then
ended small.
I don't even know what happened in the third. I still have not had a chance to dissect the game because I'm on vacation, but I haven't. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I watched it in real time, and Steve Anderson commenting, thank you, Steve, for joining in, brings up shot selection, and it is, and and I think it was in the fourth quarter where like I saw the one where they're out around the perimeter with iHeart holding the ball, and he finally the shot clock's winding down, and Caruso gets the handoff and then puts a floater in the lane. It goes in, but it was shot clock violation. Is that the one you were trying to mention earlier?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, I was talking about the
you said
at the end of the game when Siakam. I actually saw that because I was just clocking out at work. That Siakam missed both his free throws, but on the second one, everybody was in the lane and they called a lane violation against OKC.
Yeah, and that's always supposed to default. I thought
1 point.
Yeah, exactly. He made the next one. So, but yeah, you hate to waste the Lou Dort effort, 5 of 9 from 3, but you've got to get Chet Holmgren more minutes. And herein lies the thing. You remember the days of the 2012 finals run. When they went small, it was 6'10" Kevin Durant,
right?
Man in the 5,
a bit different,
who could get a rebound.
Yeah, if you could go, it doesn't make any sense. Durant's a little light it's early in the day. He's a little light in the ass to be your guy that you're going to depend on to grab rebounds.
But it worked better.
Well,
I mean, there were times when it worked.
But he's also long enough and quick enough that he can cover guys on the perimeter.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're telling me that you can't put Holmgren out there to, and granted he got sidestepped by Miles Turner, but still, you telling me that Holmgren couldn't defend Toppin?
Yeah, I know. This is one game. I have a very good feeling that it's going to be a completely different conversation after Sunday. It's one game. It's going to be a long series. Like I said, Thunder in 6.
Yeah.
I think they're going to.
I think it's a crucial game. I think
they're all crucial games, but it's one game.
True.
It's not 2-1. It's not 2-0. It's not 3-1.
71%, Jeremy.
39%. 39%. I mean, okay. I'm not ready to give up yet. I know you are, but I'm not.
I think it's 29%.
Whatever. I don't care. I know you're ready to give up because you are the
71% of teams that win game 1 go on to win the title. So
I know you are the merchant of doom and gloom, but remember that they're not playing the 98 Bulls.
But I mean, they've lost the faith of Fox Sports 1. I mean,
who cares? Who cares? All these idiots were talking about, the Thunder are going to sweep. They're going to win every game by 40. And then there's some adversity and they're jumping off the ship.
Yeah,
screw them.
That's the way. Dan Narva checking in. Good Friday afternoon, guys. Been with you from the start, but had to fetch a beverage. Well, hopefully it's a barley pop beverage on a Friday. And then Dan also says plenty of time to rebound. There is. I mean, but I'll just say this. And, you call me the merchant of gloom and doom, fine. But, I mean, I see trends. And
you see one game.
I don't like the way that this Indiana team has handled.
You know what? We had the same conversation after game 1 against Denver. How'd that end? Stop it.
Game 7 and, I don't know. Young team still got some growing pains, I think, Well,
it is their first time on the stage. That they were a second round exit last year.
Calm down, all right? It's going to be okay. We just can't panic.
Thank you, Randy Marsh.
Strong message to the Thunder faithful on a Friday. No, game 2 coming up Sunday. And as you mentioned, and I efforted it, 10.5 point favorite are the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that's the thing as a media person, as media people, you can go against what Vegas sets as a line, and that's fine. It makes for good conversation. But I mean, Vegas is the one doing the research. Vegas is the one coming up with everything, and they're saying that this team, they feel like in game 2, this team is a 10.5-point favorite.
Yeah, they don't build those beautiful, gaudy, gaudy, massive casinos because they give away money, right?
No, they're not a charity.
No, they are not a charity.
Maybe if UNICEF got into the basketball betting.
Everyone remember how Vegas got started? Some of these guys.
Yeah. Steve Anderson says the vibe that I'm getting, and I hope I'm wrong, is 88 World Series when Gibby hit the miracle homer. The Mighty A's lost in 5, but this is where you find out what a team is made of. I mean, are you going to call one of our faithful viewers merchants of doom, gloom and doom too?
Well, that is pretty merchant. Yeah,
I mean, I get what you're saying.
I get it, but it's one game. It's nowhere near the Gibson limping out of the tunnel on one leg and going yard off Dennis Eckersley. It's a team that made some stupid mistakes, coaching mistakes, players not, it was a bad quarter.
Yeah.
Call it what it is. Three good quarters, one bad quarter.
I'd be like Chuck just to make myself numb so I don't feel it, just a little pinprick, so to speak. Are you chasing the H there, Dan? Chasing the dragon?
Talking about, what was Pink Floyd? Sid,
little pinprick.
Yeah, it's comfortably numb. That song's about
heroin.
No. It was God dang it. Who was the guy? Sid
Bob Geldof?
No, he was a member of Pink Floyd. He had viral meningitis, and they loaded him up with uppers to get his ass on the stage.
Oh,
and that's what that
Sid
song's
Barrett?
about. It's not about heroin.
Was it Sid Barrett?
Sid Barrett, yes.
Yeah. So anyways, little viral meningitis of the program. Kenny McGuire said they tried some different lineups. It didn't work. Things will be different Sunday. Yeah, go with your 2 bigs.
Yeah, dance with the one that brought you.
Exactly. Michael Busso, I'm glad this was game 1 and not on the verge of elimination.
Well, according to some of the guys on this stream, they might as well just not play the rest of the series.
Just give up, Thunder.
Just give up.
They're done. Well, you know what they need to do when they come out Sunday, don't you?
Blow them off the damn court. 2 bigs. Yes.
Grind their bones into dirt. Make them regret they were ever born.
They should start everybody that's over 6'8" they have on their roster.
I would just swamp them down low, And hey, one thing about 3-point shots, and you got 6'9" coming at you, it's still a little off-putting when you're launching from outside.
It's true.
So anyways, I mean, and that's another thing I'll just say is, quit trying to get these guys are going to get off the shot, or they're going to sidestep you and have a better shot. We're not guarding the Thunder are not guarding the perimeter nearly as much as they're shutting off the dribble drive. And so you don't need to leap in the air and give them the opportunity to sidestep. That was a bad judgment. Just you're 7 foot, get your hand up. Make him take his initial shot.
Puffing the magic dragon, Fokker.
You pothead, Fokker?
I got nipples. Can you milk me, Fokker?
Hey,
Sid
Fokker.
Barrett. Thank you.
Yep. It was Sid Barrett, who was also the subject matter of several Pink Floyd songs, including Shine On You Crazy Diamond and
an entire movie.
Wish You Were Here and The Wall. Yeah.
The Wall
The Wall was kind of inclusive on Sid and Roger Waters. It was
yes.
I think Waters was the dictator type.
When I see Roger Waters now, I'm like, how is this dude still alive? How?
Those guys had a strong constitution. Damn it, Jeremy, LOL. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but it reminds me of that moment after game 1 in the 88 World Series. The A's just imploded mentally. I want to see the Thunder step up. It is step up time. And
these guys are too young and dumb to implode mentally. There's not a whole lot going on up there.
You hope that they do have a short memory. And like you said, go out, handle your business in game 2. Let them know that you're still the Thunder and the number 1 seed, and then sneak one away from Gainbridge somehow.
Hit some damn shots.
Yeah. And like I said, you got to get production from some of those other guys, as they always say. And you got double figures from Caruso, or 9 from Caruso last night.
He had 11.
Yeah. But the Isaiah Joes and the Aaron Wiggins, this would be a great opportunity for them to step up and really, kind of put the stranglehold on some.
How about the Chet Holmgrens? Getting the ball up more than 9 times.
Yeah.
9 times. Yeah, Caruso had 11 on 8 shots. So I mean, he was efficient enough.
Like I said, if he makes the free throw on an and one, they're tied.
Yeah, well, if
all on him.
Call a lane violation, they win by 1, right?
It's all on him.
If some butts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
J-Dub, 1 for 4 from 3, 6 of 19. He was 4 for 4 from the free throw line, but he'll need to be more assertive. I think they've seen. I mean, here's exit question on this topic, Jeremy.
Thank God.
Well, we do.
Second time we had this conversation, I'm more frustrated than I was last night.
That's right. That's what I do. But I know that the Pacers trailed that game the whole game. They made a big run there in the fourth. But is it a situation where the Thunder can say they've seen what the Pacers do best, and now we know exactly what we want to do?
That's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now, because you had that game in your hand, just like game 1 against Denver. I'm going back to that, and you pissed it away through whatever happened, bad coaching decisions, just making not having that attention to detail they've had all season on both the court, especially defensively. They just have to be sharper. They have to be better. Is it a rest versus rust situation? I don't know. You think by the fourth quarter that would have been worked out, but yeah. It's come out and just, play all 4 quarters, play in the game how you started the game until the starters get pulled because you're up 25 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I get it. And if it proves out that way, then we're all that much better off for it. Just
sure.
I
had a terrible feeling about that game yesterday when you dropped that poll, and I was looking at it, but I didn't have time to really absorb what you had asked. But I was about to hit Pacers win. I just had a horrible feeling about it all day. Well, maybe it was just because I had a horrible day yesterday, and that was where I was at mentally.
Yeah,
but. Yeah.
So On3 Sports has announced as we transition the attendees to the Manning Passing Academy. Who do you think would be the number 1 listed on there?
Well, that would be one Archibald Manning, John Mateer, Drew Aller, Luke Altmaier for Illinois, Avery Johnson. That guy's got to get going for K-State. Yeah. He's been extremely inconsistent in his entire tenure at K-State.
Nussmeier, Sam Levitt, Arizona State, Austin Simmons, Ole Miss, Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton of Georgia. So where's the Tennessee quarterback? Because, I mean, they're a top 10 ranked team, Jeremy. Where's Tennessee's quarterback in that whole pace?
He's not there, is he?
No. He's not.
No, well, I mean, Tennessee could win it all this year with a brand new quarterback. I guess, Nico was pretty mid last year for the hype that he had coming in, and they still made the playoffs. So, man, Heupel's a hell of a coach.
He is, and I mean, he'll have a competent. I mean, don't you think he'll have a competent?
They'll have a good. They'll have a good offense. He's coordinated really good offenses since he left Oklahoma. I think that it was a big learning experience for him when he got fired by OU. And, that Tennessee roster he's recruited well. It's loaded. He's got a ton of talent. I can't think of the kid's name that's quarterback there now, but he's a proud former Mountaineer. Appy State.
Yeah.
It's really strange. You've got all these, group of 5 quarterbacks that end up in the Power 5 and have great success, like Cam Ward, hopefully John Mateer.
Yeah.
I don't. Kansas State's not a group of 5, but you never just gush over what their quarterback play has been.
Will Howard was there, and then
Yep.
he, goes to Ohio State and just has
Right.
tons of weaponry.
I was a big believer in L. Roberson and Michael Bishop
Boy,
and Chad May.
Yeah, Chad May, and then man, Michael Bishop had some amazing runs.
He was a stud.
So last night we talked a little bit about the ESPN Football Power Index, and they released their college football top 25. Texas at number 1, Georgia number 2, Alabama 3, Ohio State 4, and Penn State 5. OU was at 16. And as we were talking and bantering just now, Texas A&M at 8, Tennessee at 10.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just power on both sides because Marcel Reed does not exude confidence for me going forward as if I were an Aggie coordinator.
That the quarterback at A&M?
Yeah.
His name's Marcel.
Marcel Reed.
Like the monkey on Friends.
I always think Marcel Ledbetter, Jerry Clower.
Oh my gosh. Let's see.
I guess our Rocky Top talk got Dan Narva thinking about some Osborne or some Osborne brothers doing Rocky Top corn from the car.
Who's Elko's offensive coordinator down there at A&M?
Oh, it's daggone it. Is it a former Oklahoma-based guy?
I don't know.
I don't know. Marcel Reed looked like he had, some good run pass option abilities, but against the better defenses, they didn't do a lot.
No, and let's see. Colin Klein. So hey,
that's who it was. Colin
K-State.
Klein, not an Oklahoma quarterback, but a K-State quarterback.
Okay. Yeah, those guys have been pretty salty as coordinators. I think Klein will do a good job, but I don't. It's Texas A&M. It's an unserious program with a ton of money. Yeah.
Kenny McGuire on the message line says it's good that Heupel said no to Nico. Maybe more kids will think about it and stay. That's true possibility. I'll just say that really for Nico, I'm sure there are kids that are going to look at it and say, well, he left and he still landed somewhere. So if I'm good enough,
you went from making $2 million a year to probably scraping by with $750,000
plus a lot higher taxes.
Sure. That's going to be after taxes.
Yeah.
I think it was a horrible decision for him. We've seen what UCLA football is. It's not a good program. They're playing. The Big Ten is tough. They spend a ton of money. They have a ton of talented teams. Those California teams in Oregon, all those West Coast teams, they just have such a disadvantage because of the travel.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for that big noon kickoff where they have to kick off at 9 a.m. on the West Coast. I just want to see it. I want to cherish it.
Well, apparently Mule Shoes put together the number 1 class so far for the 2026 signing period. And
we've seen that. We've seen that happen here, right? And then by July, half those guys have decommitted.
Apparently,
so we'll see.
Apparently, he's going to pull the Pete Carroll and put a hedge around the state of California to keep kids from going back east. Pete Carroll was able to fund a lot of that seclusion.
Sure. But the way things are now, there's going to be someone in there saying, "Hey, you can go to Texas A&M or Texas or, and not pay any state tax. You can go to Oklahoma and your state tax isn't going to be that much. You can go to anywhere in the South or anywhere but California, and your dollar is going to be maximized. You can't say that in California."
But Jeremy, they're in LI.
Well, I don't know why. There's lots of shopping. Well, not everyone is Caleb Williams, who's
You got any issue with Arch Manning being, Arch Manning, Texas being put in at number 1 this early? And I mean, I would default to Georgia or Bama or Ohio State if it were my index.
Who won the national title?
Ohio State.
Till they lose their number 1.
The Ohio State.
The final poll should be the first preseason poll.
But they lost Will Howard.
Don't care. I don't care, Chuck. The final poll from the previous season, that should be your starting point.
Yeah. So your Oklahoma Sooners in this upcoming season will play the according to these rankings, number 1, number 3, number 10, number 12, number 13, number 14, number 15, and number 23 in their schedule.
And how many of those teams are returning a starting quarterback?
Go
ahead.
LSU.
That's it.
Yeah, that is it.
That's it. But
I mean, Texas, Arch is the do all end all for college football. I mean, he's
remains to be seen.
Exactly.
A lot of guys look good against UTSA.
Hey, don't you hack on the Roadrunners, pal. They're going.
Hey, I'm a fan.
Regional action today, baby.
I am a fan, but the difference in talent level between UT Austin and UT San Antonio is shocking.
The budget is shocking too.
Tough money.
As I mentioned, Oregon at 6, A&M at 8, Notre Dame at 7, Carson Beck and the U at 9. Where did the U finish last season?
I don't know. I don't think bringing Pete Davidson in to play quarterback is really going to shoot him up into the top 10, but that's just me.
So, I mean, obviously the power index looks at all facets because –
Does it? I thought it just looked at logos.
Yeah. Cade Klubnik and Clemson is at number 11. Now I'll say this.
I think they're going to be they should be top
they should be
between 10 and 5.
They should mop the ACC.
Yes.
Now I hate saying that for the Ponies who are at number 20, Muleshoe and the Trojans at 19, Florida at 18. Did you see that Florida baseball coach last weekend and all his storming around on the Coastal Carolina folk?
That boy looked like he had a demon in him.
Kevin O'Sullivan, I think, is his name.
Yeah. That was, that was a terrible look. It was awful when Sark, went full nutbag on that site coordinator for the whatever bowl game they're in. That's just terrible, man.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. They're not. It's not the guy's fault. What are you screaming at him for?
2 Big 12 teams in the top 25, number 21, K-State Wildcats, and number 24, the Arizona State Sun Devils.
We haven't talked about how massive of a loss for – I know Levitt's pretty good, but Cam Scatteraboo, man, that dude was –
he was the
everything
guy
for that team last year.
Yep.
I don't. It was Boise State in the top 25 of the rankings.
They were not in this one. This, like I said,
because they had a pretty good running back last year that did everything for them, and it's kind of the same deal. They've got a serviceable quarterback, but you just lost a dude, man. And those kind of guys don't come around every day.
Well, I need to check Bill Connolly's most recent article because I think he did a preview of the Mountain West. And if you've got ESPN Plus, I'd love for you to share that with me maybe down the road. But I think he mentioned something to the effect of
is Bill going to get mad if I send you several pictures of the article?
I hope not. I mean, I'm trying to get him on the show, so I don't know what.
We pirated your your article, Bill. Sorry, I did pay for it though.
Penn State at 5. Everybody, I've heard people say that if it's going to happen, this. Now, they lost a lot. They lost Abdul Carter. They lost the big tight end. But, I mean, they feel like with Drew Aller and a lot of other pieces that they could make a run at the Big Ten subsequently. That would be something big in the playoff.
That's been the bugaboo for the Nittany Lions of Penn State is they are great until they play someone who's around the same talent level as they are, then they struggle mightily.
How does Alabama bounce back to be number 3?
I don't know. They're replacing him. Oh, Ryan Williams. You know he's only 18?
He is, but
I mean, he's 18,
man.
Yeah. Milrose gone. They lost some big linemen. They lost a lot of guys on defense. they got to replace a bunch. I don't know how. What's his name? DeBoer has. I know his recruiting classes have been ranked high, but what's the development like there? What are they rolling out of the field on Saturday? Who's going to be their starting quarterback?
Yeah, let me take a look at that.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. Scattaboo that guy is an absolute stud.
Could be between Ty Simpson, Keelan Russell, or Austin Mack.
So none of those names are putting fear into me right now.
No.
Milrow was one of the Milrow. I mean, he can hurt you in so many different ways.
Yeah, and he could hurt their offense too.
True, that is true.
But no, I mean, he would have some amazing games. I mean, that was the thing about the Oklahoma loss for them, was that they had just obliterated LSU in Baton Rouge the week before.
Oh, I know. But they took his legs away.
Yeah.
And if you make him a thrower, he's average.
Keelan Russell is their 5-star quarterback signee. He was the number 2 prospect in the 2025 class.
I mean, with that list of names that you rattled off, Alabama's quarterback room, you got a 5-star. Why not?
Yeah.
Just go.
It's kind of get them out there and get it going, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you always risk that. I do know who the Cubbies are playing tonight, Dan. That's why I got the hat on, brother.
Is it Cubbies and Lions or Cubbies and Tigers?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. And how nice that, the Lake Michigan area, vicinity has competitive teams again.
Isn't it? It is nice.
Of course, Detroit, that's Lake Erie. Are they on Erie? Dan, your Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Always wanted to check out Lake Huron.
Okay.
I thought
they're not lakes, man. They're just inland seas,
big oceans. So anyways, so that's, and the good thing about, ESPN doing that is if you do a daily show talking any amount of sports, you can run short of topics real fast. And ESPN provides the fodder for talk shows around everywhere. So
St. Clair flows into the Erie.
Okay. So good to know.
Yeah.
Detroit would be an interesting situation in the fact that you have pretty quick access to Canada, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's right there.
It's right across from Windsor.
Yeah.
Windsor, Ontario.
I hear that Molson beer just like moonshine.
Well, I've learned so much in the last couple of months about IDs. If you get enhanced driver's license in Michigan, you can work in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they do the same thing in El Paso for Texans?
Probably.
Okay.
I think they have tunnels underneath the border.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cartel will be glad to let you come do some work. Yep. Hey, real quick, and I kind of want to wrap up the show with some College World Series and then also just anything else hodgepodge. We haven't mentioned on today's show about Tom Thibodeau being fired from the Knicks. I heard some talk on Sirius XM and really blasting James Dolan. Old JD in the straight shots taking the heat for having too much influence on that one. And, it is odd, but are you like me? You could kind of tell that he'd maxed out that team for everything.
He squeezed every ounce of whatever out of that roster.
Yeah.
After watching that game 7 game 6 against Indiana. I was like, how did this series go this long?
How did they beat Boston?
they don't play very good defense. Cat is so inconsistent and hard to watch. Brunson, heck of a player, but who's he going to guard?
Yeah.
And Thibodeau with his rotations, he plays like 6 dudes. If he managed the Mets, he wouldn't play 9 guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
South Detroit.
Yeah, South Detroit. Well, and I pretty sure I saw a story that said it looks like the Knicks are willing to make a tidal wave offer to try to commandeer the services of one Greek freak.
Okay. You know, that's another thing about Thibodeau. He doesn't play young guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't draft anybody that is gonna, grow in his system, at least for until he trusts them. So 2 to 3 years. Timelines are too fast in the NBA these days. Once you get that marquee guy, that's Canada, South Detroit. You're confusing us Okies with your geography.
Hey, Connor Carr said he was going to watch us and jump in today. I haven't seen him. I don't know he said he was making deer jerky.
Oh, okay.
But I've got a cop story for him that I don't know if he caught last night. I told him I would tell him a cop story.
Okay.
But anyways, also Josh Pate back on football. I know we're jumping around. SEC preseason quarterback rankings. DJ Lagway of Florida ranked number 1, Arch Manning 2, Lenoris Sellers 3, Garrett Nussmeier LSU 4, and John Mateer rounds out the top 5. We've already kind of had this conversation, but we want to have it again to preserve it. Diego Pavia, lots of disrespect there for him. That guy is a gamer.
He is. Beat
Auburn in
they beat
on
Alabama
the plains
last
when
year.
he was at New Mexico State.
Yeah, they beat Auburn when he was at New Mexico State.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Alabama last year.
Yeah, almost beat Texas.
The guy's a heck of a player. Yeah. You don't do those things at Vandy. That's not their best quarterback in their history was Jay Cutler, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Taylon Green at number 8 for the Razorbacks, and then one Jackson Arnold, JFA, at number 7 for Auburn. And we talked about this before as well. He has the skill set to be a good quality SEC quarterback. What they have around him will depend a lot, and then also to me, what he does as far as ball security. And it's not just the if you're an RPO quarterback, you don't need to be having fumbleitis.
And that was the bugaboo he had in Norman. Just stupid, untimely, costly turnovers. Cost him the Tennessee game. Cost him the Missouri game. That was him. You can't just turn the ball over. You have to protect it for dear life. They weren't able to throw the ball last year. I don't know if that was 100% on him. Yeah. I think the scheme they ran last year was probably one of the worst college offenses I've ever seen. Plus the just massive amounts of injuries they had to that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
By the time they got to that bowl game, they still didn't have anybody they started the season with.
No. What, Deion Burks, and see if somebody else can run some routes this season?
You got this Centennia kid from Arkansas. Is just supposed to be a burner. They got a couple catch. Yeah, we'll see. I think they got him on the jugs machine right now. You got the 2 group of 5 guys that they're pretty high on. One, the kid from Pine Bluff, is it, that had a little injury in the spring, should be ready for the beginning of the season. They just think he's going to be a star. Yeah, they've had good success with guys coming from the group of 5 down there in Norman.
A little scary, Jeremy, because Parker Thune tweeted out yesterday that Cooper Hooker, a recruit from Salina, Oklahoma, which I've been to Salina. Guess there's not much else to do but run routes. Well, there's a beautiful lake nearby. Never mind. But anyways, apparently he's been showing out in workouts. So I don't know, but
that at the? I think that was at the camp.
Oh, okay, yeah,
that was in camp. Yeah. Well, they picked up a pretty good 3-star linebacker out of Fort Gibson in one of those camps.
Yeah, the camps can pan out.
Butkus.
Yeah, was on Butkus, and
Natty
was a Detroit Lion too, wasn't he?
He was a Detroit Lion.
He was a Detroit Lion. Honestly, if I had to rank that quarterback list, Nussmeier would be at my top.
I would have Nussmeier or Lenoris Sellers.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Because I
interchangeable because they both have a body of work. Lagway's got 1 year. If you want to slot him in between 3 and 5, cool, that's fine.
Mhm.
Mateer, which it's just kind of we have to see what he can do in the SEC. We have to see what the offense is going to look like. We got to see what the weapons are around him.
Mhm.
Pavia is just he shouldn't be that low. Arnold, I think, is too high. You got a kid whose confidence was destroyed in Norman by just coaching malpractice by Seth Luttrell and the Joe John Finley,
Mhm.
who somehow is still employed by the University of Oklahoma. And every day he is, my blood pressure will remain high.
That's true. No Missouri on that list. But there's 16 teams. Who else are we missing?
Well, let's see. Missouri should be towards the bottom because they've got that transfer from Penn State, who was the backup at Penn State. That's probably going to start there.
Oh, no Tennessee quarterback.
No Tennessee quarterback. We're just talking top 10, right?
Georgia, yeah, no Georgia quarterback.
Was Marcel up there in the
Number
top
9.
10? Number 9.
Number 9.
Okay, I thought JFA was number 9.
He was number 7.
Number 7.
Number 6, Ole Miss, Austin Simmons. Oh, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
So they're not able. Was Will Rogers there last year?
I couldn't name the quarterback they put. I think they won 3 ball games last year. I don't know who played quarterback for them last year.
Hey, who's got time for a good cop story?
Hit it.
All right. So
Connor, are you there?
Connor, I had to get Connor's address because I finally saved up enough funds to give him his door prize for winning fantasy football last season. And so so I get his address and I said, "Oh, that's a little bit different neighborhood. You're over by Tinker,
the Mid-Dale area."
Yeah, you're over right there bordering Mid-Dale. And he goes, "Yeah, first house, it's all we could afford, blah blah blah." And I said, basically I used to patrol over that way. It was adjacent to my patrol district, but we kind of went all over. And the borderline for Del City and Oklahoma City law enforcement is 44th Street going from Bryant to Sooner. So I'm cruising down 44th Street and I see a bunch of cars in a car wash and there's a bunch of people and I can tell something's kind of heated. And I pull up and this guy tells me that he's been carjacked and that his vehicle that was taken was a 79 Cadillac DeVille with black color and high profile tires, and then also
as one drives in the Mid-Dale area,
hydraulics. So he brought his hoopty down to get cleaned up, just like any good American should be able to do, and gets robbed. So I said, "Where'd they go?" And so I scream east on 44th Street, and I find a car similar in a Homeland parking lot.
Well, man, those cars are a dime a dozen over there.
This one did stand out. I'll give the guy credit. He had taken it an extra step. So I approach the vehicle and it sees me and they take off. Well, this was a the chase was in 1998. My car that night was a 1988 Caprice Classic Chevrolet. So anyways, Dan Narva, need to run, guys. Dinner bell's ringing. I'll catch up on the rest. Thanks. Always keep me company here in the backyard. Go Tigers. Scooball, is it Scooball or Scooball?
Sounds like Pete Crow Armstrong's next victim.
Starter for the we need to hit Sox work the Tigers for a split of 4-game series in the cell. Okay. So anyways, I'm in a 1988 Caprice Classic. To say the least, it has little acceleration power. So this guy is running from me and I'm having trouble keeping up with him, but he's got, and those of you listening or watching on the stream, he's got the rear driver's side tire, the hydraulic is elevated. So he's kind of hauling ass down 44th Street towards Sooner on 3. He's on 4 wheels, but man, the power distribution is pretty low. So anyways, at 44th and Sooner, if you're going east, it's a T intersection. You can only go north or south once you get to Sooner. And he decides he wants to try to go north, and he loses control, slid and skidded into the fence that borders Tinker Air Force Base, taking the Cadillac up under the fence and subsequently ripping the back axle off. But he did clear the fence, and then as he's coming to a stop, he's gone running up a creek there on base. So, Jeremy, we hear things about, super adrenaline rushes and feats of strength that people find in situations. That happened to me because the chain link fence around Tinker Air Force Base has got to be one of the highest density of chain link fences you can have. A very thick chain link fence. So I run up there and I'm able to pull up the fence and crawl underneath and chase after this guy. I was smart enough not to run my car up under the fence too. So I worked with some guys that might would have said, I'm just going to go under that fence too. But anyway, so
Air Force might have an issue with that.
They might have an issue with that. So anyways, I'm running up this creek bed where I last saw him running. And scary point is, I mean, he's an armed robbery suspect and he's entering in a base residential area. I mean, that's where people lived. But anyways, I lose him. And then after that, here come the cavalry, and it's a bunch of Air Force special police. Well, this one kid who looks 18 gets out and he comes down and comes up to where I'm at with his dog. And I point down the way and I said, I only went up to that tree there just north of us. I didn't go any further. So if you start your track there, you should be able to find him, tracking. And the kid looks at me and goes, well, this is a bomb dog. He doesn't track. And I said, well, I don't have a bomb and I don't know what to tell you. So, you might put your fucking dog back in the car. And I was just livid, because I lost the guy. And so pardon the profanity. But anyways, so I get back in the car and some of my coworkers come and come back. Well, I go back to the fence where I was going to get back in my vehicle, and there was no shot in the world of me lifting that fence up on my own again. The adrenaline had gone, and that fence was heavy. So just an example of what adrenaline can do for a person's strength. But so anyway, this guy commences going up the creek that I lost him in, and I guess he would have crossed the golf course there on base.
Yeah,
that goes up to 29th.
Yeah, to where the story ends, he would have had to gone that way.
So, and obviously you've heard it before. Well, last night. So, anyways, he manages to get off of the base. I think there's like a creek there or something where he must have crawled through, and he's all muddy and he has he heads into this bar on 29th Street called the Bombardier Club, and this was a young black male. Who walks into an all-white bar.
Which, just for some background on the Bombardier Club, that is a great place to get your nose broke.
Oh, it is a slaughterhouse, I'm sure. Never spend a night with taking a drink in there or anything like that.
You can look at that place and say, yeah, I probably get punched in the face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's what we used to call the beer joint.
Yeah.
Marty Wandry, he hadn't had that much energy since. That's probably true. But anyways, the kid goes in and asks to use the phone, and they take one look at him. He's like, no, you need to go. And maybe it had to do with the mud on his clothes. I don't know. But anyway, so Midwest City Police catches him in the Sam's parking lot. So bad guy caught. And, the Cadillac was trashed. That thing, I'm sure was done. But man, the things about, and that's the thing, every time I've ever gone to Middale and gone up and down Sooner, if I hit that intersection, first thing I think of is that Cadillac going under that fence. But Connor lives over in that area. Hopefully they stay safe. I'm sure he invokes his Second Amendment rights on a regular basis around that area.
One should in that area. I went to school in that area for a couple of years and had a truck stolen out of the parking lot. When I got it back, it was broken into. That area is awful. Well,
you know what's funny is in the police academy, I lived with some people that were kind of like my second family. It was they had daughters that were my age, and they had gotten married in their early 20s. And so they were empty nesters, and they said, I was Charlie then, and they said, do you want to live here while you go through the academy? I was like, that's probably pretty smart. So they were between Sunny Lane and Bryant at about 51st, and it was a nice, quiet neighborhood. And I think what happened is a lot of those tinker folk built houses were through there years and years and years ago, and then they get transferred, and then the thing gets sold, and hard to keep up with property values. But that was part of my patrol district at one time, and it was pretty hairy. But I remember the '99 tornado wiped out that area where Connard said he lives. And we had to do a lot of perimeter duties over there off of 44th between Sunny Lane and Sooner after that tornado ripped through there. So, but anyways, so I don't get over. Where'd you go to school in that area?
Rose State.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a away series at Cali County. So we get on the bus. I see this 80s model Monte Carlo sitting over there. Four guys get out of it, go in there. They don't look like they belong. They just don't. They don't fit where they are.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching them, and we get on the bus and we leave. We come back. My truck's gone, and that Monte Carlo is sitting in the spot right where it was.
Oh, wow.
Next to the window of my truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got it at Draper.
Oh, yeah. I worked a case one time where a lady had her truck stolen one morning, warming it up and dumped in Draper.
Yeah.
But apparently he had paid for some enhancements when they dated, and then she broke up with him. So he wanted to get his money back.
That was a good old truck too, man. It's a 91 GMC OBS. Man, I love that truck.
OBS.
That's the that model.
Oh,
it's the, they had the box Chevys in the 80s up until 89, and then they went to that more streamlined.
Yeah, it was a little more curved.
Yeah, that's a good truck though. I miss that truck.
My first brand new truck was a 1994 single cab F-150.
Yeah.
Bought it at Southwest Ford at 59th and Penn.
Yeah, and the older you get, the more I miss that old single cab truck. I don't know why I got this 4-door.
Jeremy, I've had dreams about still driving that truck.
Yeah.
I mean, literally in the last 10 years, I've had dreams about having that truck at my disposal. And
when I bought this truck, I was like, man, there's a single cab over there.
Yeah. But even in the day and time of lack of responsibilities, that little extra cab. Of course, they may make them now where they have a little storage, something behind the seat. But it was that bench seat in my F-150 was a little rough to navigate. I did have a middle console, I think, but it was royal blue with the silver kind of plastic trim at the bottom or whatever. It was a dandy. I love that truck. But anyways, hey, College World Series tonight. Devon Park. Is Patrick Mahomes going to be in attendance again tonight?
And Connor says his Facebook's messed up, so he's going to have to watch it later, I guess.
Screw you, Connor. Is College World Series is Texas Tech going to be able to pull it off tonight?
Let's see. Obviously, you're going to have Kennedy going against Cavan. Well, we won't know until first pitch who's actually pitching, because they don't. They can just throw their lineup cards. You can't really plan for it. But I would assume they're going to go with their aces. Kennedy's logged a lot of innings in this College World Series.
I know you can't play what if too much, but I would love to have seen OU get the 2 out of 3 opportunity against either one of those teams.
Well, I would have loved to see Jordy Ball still be on that roster. And
no kidding.
Yeah, you're probably looking at OU against one of these teams tonight instead of the Sand Aggies against the Horns.
Sam Landry's a great story. I don't know that she would not be the ace of any of the squads.
No, I mean, there's been, you got that Kennedy girl who, honestly, the first time I saw her on a dime, and she's from Topeka, Kansas, by the way. I got a lot of family up there. They knew all about her. But the first time I saw her pitch for Stanford, it looked like Shaquille O'Neal standing out there in the middle of that diamond with, all those other girls around her. She's just so physically imposing.
Yeah.
And man, she's good. I mean,
she's going to need to get hot with the bat tonight too.
She is. They don't score a lot of runs.
No, they don't. So, but anyways, it'd be a good, I guess it'd be, I don't know. Is it a good story if Tech wins it?
No.
Someone
just bought a title. It's not a good story if Texas wins it, because when Texas wins, America loses.
Well, you may be on to something there, my amigo. So anyways, let's go ahead and boogie on out of here. We've kind of passed our allotted time. Super Regionals going on this weekend as well. Arkansas, are they hosting Tennessee?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think they were the higher seed.
All right.
If Connor was in here, he could set us straight.
Yeah, let me pull up real quick on the score and I can maybe tell you. But, it's always fun. This time of year is always fun because the College World Series will, take forever to get.
Let's see. Arkansas play. Yes, they are. They're in Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm.
They play tomorrow at 4.
So Louisville's leading Miami.
Louisville.
Oregon State's hosting the Seminoles. Coastal Carolina's at Auburn, and North Carolina just walloped Arizona 18-2. Go Big 12.
Yeah, go get ACC. Got the toy poodle league against the Big 12.
Exactly. Hey man, hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for jumping on here and doing a redo with me.
Sure, I'm on vacation, so just holler if you want.
Well, we might have to do a Game 2 recap on Monday morning.
Yeah, maybe.
If you want.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. We're only going to do it once. I don't think I could talk about it twice if they lose.
The merchant of gloom and doom will be here.
Yes.
He's Jeremy Schroeder, ruler of the airways. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog. Be sure and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram at Law Dog Sports. You can listen to the podcast on our Spotify page. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube page at Law Dog Sports. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you real soon.